And this is a bit, again, that we try and get across to people. That's one of the other big fundamentals for us is service. Service within a fellowship or within a group, but service to the wider community. Because as addicts, we know the social cost of addiction. We take massive amounts out of our society, out of our community, and still continue to do because of long-term health conditions, etc., etc. But when we're getting well, we've got to put something back in, and we've got to start to show this. So we really push this sort of service stuff. So whether that be volunteering at local events with the local community group, marshalling, parades, picking up litter, or you know, bigger stuff going out and sort of handing out in the lock zone, or getting involved in the COVID relief stuff and stuff like that. Just putting something back in and showing that we can be a purpose, and we kind of just kind of like push across to the guys like Gandhi. I think it's Gandhi says, isn't it? The service is the rent that you pay for your room on earth. Do you know what I mean? And it's this sort of again. To be honest, I'm not sure. I think that bit of it is a specific element from me. I think that does come from me. That bit of it, that desire for us as a community to be like that, because I know that was me as an individual at that point. When I was first getting myself together, I know what a piece of shit I'd been, and I know the harm and the damage that I caused to individuals and to families and to wider communities and to wider society. I know that. So for me, it was about trying to repay some of that stuff on a personal basis. But as I did that, it just made me realise, fuck, there's so much value to this. You know, so much value just to be. And again, it's a weird one, because in recovery, what we sort of say is that what other people say, what other people think about us is none of our business, it's none of our concern. You know, so whether it be good or whether it be bad, whether someone's talking shit or saying that they were the best thing since sliced bread, I know that. I mean, my funeral in Bangor, I've already said I want like an open coffin, so people can either throw bags of dog shit or flowers in, because I know it will be complete polar ends of the spectrum. But I just know it made such a massive difference to me, and made me, like I sort of say, not that the opinion of other people's matters more than mine, but just to actually to be recognised as a positive, upstanding member of the community, not to be identified by an addiction, or not to be identified as an offender first and foremost, to be identified as a volunteer who supports his wider community. And that's, like I say, that's one of the things that we know now, coming out off the back of our stuff and everything that we did within COVID, without being big-headed or without being whatever, but we know our community, our local community wouldn't have survived without us. We know that, they know that. The people who were starving, the people who couldn't go out to get medication, the people who couldn't get to doctor's appointments, who know that stuff wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for us. We know that, and they know that, you know what I mean? And whether that needs to be more widely publicised or not, I think as long as we recognise that and the community recognises that itself.
That must mean an awful lot to the community members. That's a powerful driver, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was interesting when we first. When we first set up at Penrhyn, there was some natural resistance from some of the people that were local. The place was a bit of a shit. Well, it was a lot of a shithole to start with. It was being used as emergency accommodation. There was a lot of problems with it to start with. But when we said what we were doing, and there was some resistance to start with. When we actually moved, or when it was announced that we were going to be moving, because we had this new site secured, we've had loads of people coming up to us just saying they're gutted to be losing us, and they hope that we still retain a footprint within, because that actual community, that council estate called Marhock is the ward, but Deakin is the actual estate. It's one of the 10 most deprived areas in Wales. Yes, it might be in terms of social deprivation, but it's reaching so much other stuff, particularly community sort of spirit and things like that. But it's been fantastic for us to be a part of that community, and that community's benefited from us being there as well. So even though we won't physically be located there anymore, we'll be a couple of miles across the city, we'll still make sure that we have a big footprint in or around that ward, that area, that estate, because it's good for the estate, it's good for us as well as people. It gives us the opportunity to use our strength, hope and experience to support other people.